Hey, welcome to Mike's Mechanics. I built the shop behind me with my own two hands. I guess I'll walk around and show you guys what's going on, show you my shop, show you my yard. I got a lot of projects coming up and a lot of projects on the go, and it's currently snowing. I figured it's a good day to walk around and show you guys all my stuff. I got tons of old projects that need to be worked on. I hate making intros. Let's go. With any luck, this will be my new living area. I hope to build a house up in here eventually. The shop's right there. And I've got a road over there. It's all just speculation right now, but maybe put a house right there where those big trees are and go over that way a little bit with it. I just got to decide where to put a road out here, but there's a power pole in my way, so I got to go left or right of it. Anyways, I made a road. So this goes all the way up to where the burn pile is, to the shop, and then over to my parking area and stuff. It's pretty cool that I've already got it established, and I didn't have to take any trees out. This was kind of a path through here, but not really. So I just put the blade down and got rid of all these little things that were in the way, but for the most part, the path was here. I just gotta, when it thaws out, I'll have a few spots to fix because it was muddy and whatnot last year. While it's frozen, it's nice. And if any of you are thinking about buying an excavator and you're looking at those little things, don't buy a little one, just buy a big one like this. You can still haul it with a pickup. This is a 7-ton, but anywhere from 4-ton, 5-ton, 6-ton, they're all beautiful sizes. You can do so much more with them. And you're using your pickup to haul anyway. The little gas-powered things, they're just so small, they're not worthwhile. You would never get this kind of cleanup done with a small machine like that. Even this burn pile wouldn't be half the size. Get a big one if you're going to get an excavator. Don't mess around with the tiny ones. When I say big one, I mean like 4-ton up. The 3-tons, like a KX30, for example, or 030 or whatever they are, the Kubotas, they're good, but they're just a little bit on the small side. When you start lifting logs and stuff like this, you're perfectly fine, but then you'll try to push a tree over, turn out that it's useless. This thing will push any tree over. I love this machine. One thing I'm really going to have to do is this drainage here. I've got a big hole right here that it's just going down into, and that's where it dead ends. I need to get my laser out and see if the fire is a low point from here, because I would love to just run a ditch straight over to the fire, and then that fire will turn into a duck pond. I wouldn't mind ducks or whatever, just a little pond in the backyard's never a bad thing. My other option is going to be run the ditch along here like it is. I want to maybe French drain it, which would mean I put a pipe in and rocks and stuff and then dirt to bring it back up to level. And then I'm going to run it across the road here, and I've got a big ditch down where you guys saw me put a road down to that trailer last year. I maybe want to put a ditch along here and go that way and do the same thing, run pipe underground. But first step will be to laser level that. Maybe no, it's snowy today. I don't know if that thing wants to get wet. I bought a cheap Johnson laser for doing this shop. Anyways, let's have a look in the shop quick. This generator I took apart. I got a video kind of half together of tearing it apart and stuff, and I'm to the point of ordering. I need, I'll show you here. I need pistons, and I need rings, and I need, so this piston, yeah, this one's the one that's spuggered. The rings are stuck in the piston itself. It overheated, I think. And then it needs a couple of bearing caps. Those aren't very healthy. Anyways, I ordered parts for it, or I tried to, and the dealer never got a hold of me for about 2 weeks, and I phoned them yesterday, and it looks like the parts are discontinued, so I've got them on a wild goose chase. Unfortunately, I don't think the Honda's going to get revived. If any of my subscribers out there are able to get parts for one of these, I know the internet can be pretty helpful. It's an EX12D. It's a Honda GD 1100 motor. They use these lots in compact tractors. I need a rebuild kit for it, guys. I need bearings, and I need pistons, and I need bearings, pistons, rings, head gasket. The front timing cover isn't healthy. It's got a hole rubbed into it, which I will repair if I can get parts. That's my biggest concern. The bearing's got a great big groove worn into it. And of course, like I said, the piston's got the rings stuck in it. This did run, and it ran well, so I could probably unseize these rings in the piston, and I could probably put it all back together with some little bit of fine-tuning and honing and all that sort of jazz. And I bet you that it would run just fine for long enough that it would be a benefit to me. But I need that bearing. There's no way that bearing's going to last. That'll take out the crank if it's not already taken out. I didn't see or feel any grooves or marks in it. there's always a chance that it doesn't work. Anyways, like I said, the parts are discontinued. We can't find bearings for this machine, which means it'll probably never run again. The generator side did work and run and all that sort of jazz. So I guess there's a high chance that I repower it. It's a simple engine, mechanical. The only bits that run from a computer are the key and glow plugs and an automatic throttle, which is all run off. This is how it tells the RPM when it's running. That's the tachometer sensor, which goes to the throttle and all that. So I could probably unbolt this engine from this generator and bolt something else up to it. And I know the generator on this works, and it's a 12,000 watt generator, so it's worth something if I can have it running. So this might turn into a project build. It might turn into an engine swap. It might turn into putting something somewhere that it doesn't belong. Subscribe if you want to see this thing run with an engine transplant if I'm unable to find parts. But I need subscribers to fund these things, guys. YouTube doesn't pay me, and I'm not putting a whole pile of money into something like that just to see if maybe it works. I don't mind putting it back together for free, but I'm not dumping money into it. I'm not asking you guys for money, but if you subscribe to me, YouTube pays. That'll be the first thing for sure, is getting this generator going for the shop. Then I can power it. I can get my welder in here. When I get concrete in here, I'll have a hoist. Anyways, it all requires power. This thing's been working pretty well. I just went and tightened all the bolts on the plow yesterday or the day before. It was falling off. I haven't done much with this forklift as for videos. However, I've used it lots. It earned its keep. It put this whole shop up. You'll see that in the next video that I put out on this thing. But I'll definitely have some forklift content coming out. I've got a little bit recorded, not too much. The reason for that is it's just been good. It needs some work. I wouldn't mind painting it. It needs some hydraulic hoses replaced. The parking brake is very stuck. So I wouldn't mind doing a video on this thing. That will come eventually. And there's a few videos on this Ranger on my channel already. A couple of dedicated Ranger videos. This thing's awesome. 10 out of 10. I wouldn't have it any other way. I've got this generator too, but it pops the breaker as soon as you turn it on. I unhooked the breaker just to see, and it still won't give proper power. So if someone's got some insight on this thing, maybe a wiring diagram for it. I think these might be some Chinese knockoff things, because I see lots online that are identical, but they've all got different brand names on them, and they're all different colors. This one doesn't have any branding anywhere on it. That's not common with American or Canadian stuff, so I suspect this is Chinese. It's a big single cylinder diesel. It runs well. If I could get this thing working, I could plug my shop into it too, because it's got a 220 volt plug, or 240 volt plug, which means I can run my welders and stuff off it. That's the most important to me. If I can start welding in here, it'll be a game changer. So if anyone's got some sort of a wiring diagram for this style of generator, let me know, please. Barrel stove build is on the channel as well. I kind of half threw that together. I'm not super proud of how I did that video. It kind of was rushed and whatnot. I had a cold snap coming in and I was trying to get it working. However, this barrel was worth the money. It was actually a really, really nice addition to the shop. All this heavy stuff I piled on top, rocks and big half-inch thick metal plate and that sort of stuff. That just helps build heat. I also put some fire bricks in here to line it. That helps it stay hot as well. I haven't done anything more to the chimney, but I want to run a pipe up on the outside of the shop, put it out the roof, so that'll come eventually here. I got this little inverter for the shop so I can run some power tools off it, but I don't know, it's 1500 watts, so it maxes it out pretty quick. I've got all this wire that I bought to wire the shop with, so I gotta go around and put outlets everywhere, and I haven't decided exactly where I want to run the generator outside. I want to probably build a little box for it, put a roof and make it a little house so it can stay out of the elements, give it some venting, and anyways, give it a happy little generator spot outside, and then I can run the wires straight in the building from there so that I don't have to listen to the drone of a loud generator. But again, I don't have official plans for that yet. This is my current power setup, so I've just got an extension cord coming in from the side of the shop. It comes from the house way down below. It comes in there. That's this green cord here, so this has all the power running through it. And then I just plug my lights in. It's got a little power bar, the guy on the end of it. I plug my lights in there. I've got my internet plugged in, and then the yellow extension cord goes over to the corner to power my battery chargers. Nothing fancy. You gotta have the internet in the shop. So that's actually impressive, this Starlink system, because you can't hardly see. Way over there is my garage, and that's where I've got a second one of these routers. It picks up the internet 50 feet farther from the house. This guy here is probably coming 200 feet anyways, and it's maxed out its limits, but honestly, it works just fine. I have perfectly good, fast internet in the shop here, which is so nice when I'm trying to search up a little problem that I can't quite figure out working on stuff. That's cool. Did you know that if you coil your extension cord nice in one loop and run power through it, it can actually burn your house down. The power travels in these loops and it creates a magnetic field and a heater, essentially same sort of way your microwave works. But it gets so hot that you can't touch this wire. When I first had it, I just had it up on this screw here, and I had it in one big coil, and I plugged my lights into it. The lights are 200 watt each. I've got 6 of them, 1200 watts in power up there, running through an extension cord. That's all fine and dandy, but because of the coils, I came up here to turn it off one day, and this screw was so hot, I couldn't touch it. So be careful with that if you've got extension cords and you're running power through them, and your extension cord is in a loop. It is getting hot. It will get hot, and it will, if it's left long enough or if you're drawing too much power, it will melt itself and cause a fire. I didn't know that. 30 years on this planet, and I didn't know that. I had absolutely no clue you could melt your extension cord by using it coiled up. So that's a very important thing that everyone should know. Don't coil up your extension cords and run power through them. Here's this little Skidoo. I did a video on this. This was my highest rated video yet, guys. This little pre-inspection video I've got on it. That was 2 weeks ago now, and I've yet to get parts for it. Funny enough, it's the same parts place that's got the generator parts coming. Oh, look at that. There's Grouse up. See him? There's another one on the log up there. Got a lot of these guys around there. They're pretty unintelligent. They're like dodo birds. You can darn near walk right up to them. In hunting season, when we're on the quad, you can quad right up to them and they'll stand on the road while you get your gun ready and pop them off. It's hilarious. Anyways, it's not hunting season and I'm right on my property, so everything on my property gets to live. I like animals around. So anyways, this sled, it was my highest rated view and I can't seem to get parts for it. I've got 2 motor mounts coming for it and I've got the clutch parts coming for it. I've yet to hear from them, so that's not very impressive. Fire's starting to smoke over there now. It's only been 10 minutes. This tent here's an awesome little spot to keep the quad, and there's the auger I put the shop poles in with. You guys have just seen that video. Back here, I need to put rings or something in this. It has a lot of blow-by when you're running it. If you pull the dipstick tube or the dipstick out, it'll puff some pretty good crankcase pressure out of there. Honestly, this thing runs like a champ. It welds like a champ. It's an Onan engine on it, I believe. That's a big Onan. Ackland's Granger, but it's actually a Miller. It's a rebranded Miller AEAD 200LE. I bought this because of Andrew Camerata. He's got a video building a bridge that's featuring this welder, and I seen this pop up for 500 bucks, and there was no way I was turning that down. It runs, I got it home. Actually, my dad went and picked it up for me. He got it home, and we put a battery to it, and it flashed right up. I didn't even have to clean the carb. That was pretty cool. It's been great ever since. It came, guys. It came with all the leads and the ground clamps. It needs some love too. It needs spark plug wires and spark plugs and spark plug boots. And like I said, it needs rings, probably valve set at least. But it flashes right up, no problem. And this little Champion generator here, it works perfectly fine. It's just way too small to run the shop off of. It's funny, I didn't actually realize it had a 240 volt plug on it. Maybe we should try it. But 4,000 watts, I don't think that's going to power my compressor or my welders, my Miller 211 or my TIG welder. And that needs a carb clean, but it's pretty reliable. The roller runs good too. Last time you would have seen it was the most recent video. It's done its service. It got parked here, and that's where it's going to sit until spring because it's frozen to the ground now. My original pressure washer, this thing's done great. This cool old Blazer I picked up a few years ago. I've got papers and everything for it. It goes forward, but it doesn't go backwards. I need to pull the transmission out of it and get it repaired. So this will definitely be a video one day. The old tractor up here, it makes an appearance every once in a while. It needs power steering stuff, so I'll do a video on it one day. Big old cat excavator. There's not much more to say about this thing. It's just awesome in every way. I guess I should do some maintenance on it, get that panel bent back straight. I think I did that the other day because it wasn't pushed in that far. I might have done that yesterday. Oops. Okay, well there's more to fix on this thing now. Oh yeah, look at that. I rubbed a tree. I don't know when I did that. I was watching pretty carefully. Oops. Anyways, the door needed to be fixed anyways. I'm not heartbroken. I'll do a video on that. Starting to get some red down in there. That'll go. I bet you in 2 hours this is gone. My favorite pair of old Fords. Got Louise on the right, and I don't actually have a name for the OBS over here, but I Cummins swapped this many years ago. many years ago before I did YouTube, so there's absolutely no content on this thing at all. It runs, it drives, it could be a daily driver if I wanted to drive it in the salt and have it rust out. I don't want to drive it in the salt, so it sits most of the time. And you've all had a pretty good dose of Louise by now, I'm sure. My old 97 12 valve, this has been in a few videos. I wonder if I should feature this thing in a video and go all through it, but I'll definitely do a video on it, fixing the bodywork. And I noticed the exhaust is laying on the ground since I got home. What did I use this thing last for? I think I got my sheet metal. I think I got my metal for my roof, and it's sat ever since. Bobcat here doesn't really need anything more set on it. I've got a little bit of a chain repair to do for my other chain, but I need to go pick up gas from town. I don't have that, acetylene gas, so not much more to say about this guy. If you haven't seen, I got a video on this old hot water pressure washer, making it run, making it work, and it leaks, and it was fighting me, so I went and bought a new one. This thing does run and work. I've actually got it for sale right now. If any of my subscribers are from Canada, I'm in BC. I'm asking $1,000 for it. It works great. If you're from YouTube, I'll throw in a set of hoses. Let me know you found my video, and I'll sell it to you for $1,000, and I'll throw in a set of brand new hoses and wand and stuff just because you're a channel subscriber. How's that? If this doesn't sell, I think what I want to do with it is take the burner unit and plumb it into a hot tub. I think that'd be kind of cool. Hot water pressure washer turned hot tub. Let me know if you want to see that. Not worth mentioning the trailer too much, I don't think. It's just a 16-foot with heavy axles I haul my equipment with. That little red Chevy back there, I've got a video of buying that. It hasn't moved since, but now that I got a shop, I can pull it in there and have a look at it. I want to do that on a day, probably a day like today, when it's snowy. I don't quite have enough to go plow in snow yet. I got to plow 5 centimeters, that's about 4, so. Anyways, I'm going to do a video on that, fixing it up, and I bought that simply to sell it. I paid $500 for it. I hope to get $1,500 profit after I'm done putting money into it. So currently I got to sell it for $2 grand, which isn't a big deal. It's got nice winter tires on it. It runs great. It drives great. The front drive shaft's out of it. I don't know why. I can't remember what else is wrong with it. Anyways, that's going to be on the to-do list very soon. So you'll see a video of that coming up. Funny enough, I've actually got some boat content if you guys are interested. Fixed the engine on this a couple of times, carb cleans, and I went and mounted all my stuff on it. Let me know if you want to see boat stuff. I got this big firewood pile to clean up. I cleaned up over here too around the greenhouse. I didn't film any of that. I don't think you guys are really interested in watching burn piles burn. It's kind of my worst rated videos, so I got more of those to do. Logs. I have lots and lots and lots of logs to turn into lumber. I think I want to turn them all into maybe 1x6s and side the shop with it. That's my current plan. I picked this up from a cleanup job. I wouldn't mind fixing it up, but I don't have anything really to run it. I don't know if the tractor's going to be good enough with the power steering the way it is. I wouldn't mind building an adapter to run a 3-point hitch system on the Bobcat. I know there's a lot involved in that, but maybe that'll come one day. This thing needs repaired. This was my dad's. Sat ever since he's passed. I need to do some body work to it, and I need to do some PTO and stuff leaks on it, so I'll get that fixed up so I can sell it. Let me know if you guys want to see all of this stuff getting milled. I don't normally film a bunch of it because it's kind of tedious and it's repetitive. I can talk a little more deeply about the mill or the process and show you guys how to do it if you want. I don't normally stay into that. I don't know how many of my subscribers are because of this mill, so let me know if you guys like seeing mill content. I'll throw it in there if you want. Otherwise, I'll just skim over it briefly like I've been doing. We bought a cement mixer too, so actually I got given a cement mixer so I can start doing some concrete stuff and repairs. This desperately needs to get to the shop, but again, we need air and power to run it. I want to get that victory sign hung too, that'd be cool. This is my old plow truck. I've actually got someone coming today to look at it. It might finally go away. I gotta pull the mount off it, the plow mount, and I gotta pull my light bar and stuff off it. So if the guy does buy it, I'll make a little video of getting rid of this. I don't think any of you have seen this. This is my 1990 White GMC. It's a Volvo, essentially. It's got a cat engine in it, a 3176. Just to haul my equipment with this thing. I haven't in a couple of years because they played with our licensing in Canada here, so you can't quite do things the way you used to. And I could, but it's a gray area, and I don't want to get pulled over on the side of the road and find out I am illegal anyways, so it stays parked. I do keep it because I've got the big storage trailer. I haven't gotten rid of this thing for that reason. I could get rid of it. It's not worth anything, that's the problem. I had it listed for $12,000 for a long time. There was never any interest in it. People just didn't message me on it. It wasn't even that I was getting spam messages. I didn't get anything on this thing, so here it sits. What else do we have up here? The Banshee in the back here is mine. I had a friend riding it and the engine blew up, so I pulled it out and parked it. That was all before I started doing YouTube, so I've got nothing to show you taking it apart, but I could actually put it back together. I might do a video on that. Chinese bike number 1 there is mine. It runs, it needs a throttle cable, I think, or it hooked back up. I haven't done anything with it, but I could. Then there's that frame back there, and its brother here. Those are a buddy of mine. He dropped them off so I could fix them one day for him. Obviously they're sitting outside here, so that's not really the best way to keep them, but now that I've got a shop, they can come inside and get worked on. And this little guy here is just another buddy's. It doesn't need anything other than a battery. It runs and drives. It's just I have acreage, so it stays here, so when he comes over, he can ride it. These are all customers' sleds. They've been abandoned. They've been here for 3+ years. I've tried to get a hold of the guys. They won't get a hold of me, so I don't know what to do with that. Let me know what you guys think. If someone abandoned snowmobiles on your property and you've tried to get a hold of them for 3 years, not quite actively, but passively, and the voicemail for this guy owns these 2 sleds. This is a different guy entirely. This guy, he works way out of town, so every time I phone him, his voicemail grabs me and I leave him a message, and I've texted him, and I don't know, it's been years and I've yet to hear from him. So are they considered mine now? Same as this one. It's got the motor out of it. It needed parts that we couldn't find and aren't available anymore. I called the guy and said, hey, parts aren't available anymore, and there it sits. What's your guys' opinion on snowmobiles that have been abandoned by other people? This was my first Duramax truck. I've got the engine out of it because the head gaskets went. Entirely my fault. Anyways, I've got the engine at a buddy's place, and I've got all the parts here. So this is another thing that needs to get put in the shop and put back together. And at this point, honestly, it's going to be a can Mike remember how to put it back together, because it's been apart for 5 years now. I parked it in the corner over here and it hasn't moved since. Not proud of that one. So there'll definitely be a video on this thing coming out. I do have a 2-post hoist to install in the shop when I finally get concrete and power in there. Here's the state of this thing. You can see how much snow's melted since the last video. I've yet to touch it. I've yet to do anything with it. When I did the last Skidoo video, we had 10-degree weather the week after, and every inch of our snow melted. This is all brand new this week, so I haven't even dragged this out of here because I didn't know if winter was coming back, but I very well could. Oh, maybe there'll be a video on that thing. And the one beside it here is in need of clutch work. If I do this one, I'll probably do this one because I'll just move them up at the same time, and then I'll be able to work on them as I please. This guy here is 600, I think, or 500, but it's in need of some clutch work. The secondary's stuck open, I think, or stuck closed, one or the other. Anyways, there'll be a video on these one day for sure. I used to run a paving company, and this thing was the thing that sprayed our asphalt tar. It's been parked ever since. Again, ever since Dad passed away, it's just been sitting here. I don't know what to do with it. I'd like to sell it, but again, it's only worth so much, and it's only worth something to the right guy. It's very rare. Maybe I should do a restore video on it. I think it'll run it. I parked it running and driving. It should run. It's got an international V8 non-turbo piece of crap in it. No power. I could do a video on this thing. Let me know if you want to see it. When a friend asks for help, you help them. So a buddy of mine is in the military, and he needed to go away for years. As anyways, I've got this thing here in the meantime. This was his daily driver. Runs, it drives. It's parked here for 4 or 5 years for me to babysit it. Here's Max. Hi, Max. Hi, mister. How you doing? What a happy guy. Wiggle the tail. There you go. Hey, bud. You camera shy? He keeps looking away. He's usually on a mission. It's wet out here. He's going inside. So this old girl's here for the next 4 years or so. I'm babysitting her. He wants me to treat it as if it's mine, which means I could drive it anytime I want. I don't want to drive it in the salt on the roads right now because then I gotta wash it, and that's a pain. So we're gonna wait till the roads are a little nicer, but we can do an all-day video on this thing. Maybe we'll take it for an adventure. Let me know if you want to see Mike adventure around in an old first-gen Cummins. This thing's cool. He's got an updated engine in it. For any of my diesel fans out there, let's talk Cummins for a second. So it's got a P-pump Cummins out of a 97 with the 210 pump on it. It's turned way up. It's got an 8G 351 turbo on it still, I believe. It pushes some big boost. It pushes around 40 pounds of boost, and it boogies. It goes quick. It's got no problem passing people. Big old heavy dually with big bumpers and stuff on it, and it feels like a sports car. The highway that I live on is narrow and windy, and you can easily do 100k an hour down there. Doesn't feel like anything. This thing's really cool. I think it'd be cool to do a trip with it, maybe in the boonies somewhere up in the mountains. This has been in my buddy's life and in my life now for over 12 years, I guess. It's been around for a long time. This has been our sweetheart, and his sweetheart especially. And Kaylin, if you're watching, I'm keeping good care of her. Don't worry. I see her cup sitting on the ground. That's not good for it. Wonder how full of water that's going to be. Great. I doubt there's power in it, but let's just see. good. Not good at all, sorry, that's sarcasm. It's locked up solid, so that's not good at all. Son of a... This ran, guys. Oh, man, I parked this here. I wish I would have noticed that cup had come off. Darn it. Well, I guess there's going to be a recovery video on this. See if it'll run again. Unfortunately, that won't be till spring now. Oh, that's a shame. It is a 2-stroke Detroit Jimmy. There's a good chance that it'll be good. It sat outside for a very long time before I bought it, and I'm sure there was years where it didn't have a cover on the exhaust, and I'm sure it's not the first time it's been locked up a little bit. And anyways, yeah, these are pretty hard to kill. I don't know if there's a bar that I can get on the engine to turn it over, but we can always put it in gear and drag it with the excavator or something. I call her Allis. It's an Allis Chalmers HD5. I think it's a 1949. This is one that I would love to see restored and fixed properly one day. I had it operational at one point. I actually put a lot of money into this thing and a lot of work into this thing, and I was using it on a couple of jobs, unfortunately, before my YouTube days. But I'm sure I've got some old videos on my phone or something I'll throw in here so you can see it running. Subscribe if you want to see this run again. I'd love to see this thing moving. Give me some motivation, guys. I've got so many projects. You got to help me choose what to prioritize. Mike's Welder collection. So that's a 1931, I think. Lincoln. It's crank start. It's a twin cylinder, flathead, updraft carb. It's really cool. It runs. It welds. I think the head gasket was the biggest issue on this thing, so I made one. Unfortunately, again, before my YouTube days. There it sits. It does, or did run. I can show you if you want. Let me know. And this came from the same spot that the Honda diesel generator came from. I gave $300 for both. So this piece was $150, and that generator was $150. That's why I'm not heartbroken about either one of them. This one came apart. The engine's got no spark. I believe it's an Onan as well. I haven't looked into it. I'll definitely be doing a video on it. I have high hopes of that. I have low hopes of it running because I think I looked at it briefly, which is why it's apart, and I think I found a computer issue. That would give me 2 welder generators, or 1 welder and 1 generator, that are non-functional for the same reason from the same place. Again, not heartbroken. $300 out of my life for these projects isn't a big deal. In fact, I'm stoked on it. I'm not complaining at all there. But it would also be very capable of running my shop. It's got a 50 amp main breaker on it. It would be almost as capable as the Honda, if not as capable. It's a 10,000 watt compared to 12,000 watt. This thing's quite a bit newer as well. I don't know the hours on this. The Honda's probably got like 10,000 on it. I don't know the hours on this welder. It was beat up. I don't know if it'll run even. I don't know if it has power. I know nothing about it. I believe I was told it worked, and then it shut off one day. Again, guys, subscribe. Let me know you want to see this thing in a video, running, getting used, whatever. I think you've seen this hauling a couple of things around. It's just my 2008 GMC, Duramax, Allis. I don't have many videos on this because it just works. I want to put a flat deck on it one day. That would be a cool project if I could build one. Squirrels. So I bought this storage trailer for like $2,000, I think it was, or 2,500 bucks. I built this set of shelves and I moved in. This is all my crap, all my junk. I've got the press in here if I need to do some pressing. This can go in the shop actually now. I don't want to move too much in the shop, guys, until I get concrete in there. Anyways, yeah, I bought this trailer to replace a sea can that I had sitting here. I needed storage, so there it sits. I think I've got some video of actually placing it in one of my early videos. It's been great. It was so cheap I couldn't say no. It was ridiculously cheap. So I'm really happy with this trailer. And that's a circle of the property. The shop's back up in the corner there. I've had a lot of people call me stupid for this one. That's a 40 by 80 metal Quonset hut building. Complete, brand new, never been assembled. It's enormous. I've even got the original bill for it. It's sat here since we moved here. We hauled it here from our old house. I have yet to put it together because of 2 reasons. Main reason being it's going to cost a lot of money to put the foundation and concrete pad in because I want to do it properly. I want to do it with heat. I want to do it with in-floor heating, plumbed with the lines and all this stuff. So right there, I'm probably $15,000 or $20,000 in foundation work to assemble this guy. guy. And then insulating these isn't cheap or easy. They become a sweat box, and I don't know if I'm going to be on this property permanently, so I've yet to put it together. It sits here until one day that I decide to put it together. What'd I tell you? It's been, well, I'll tell you what, it's been the amount of time we've been walking around talking. I haven't really been walking around without filming much, so about this amount of time, and this is already burnt this far down. I'll probably just leave it where it is now, and I'll come back to this in the morning. Well, that's everything I own. This is Mike's Mechanics. That's sort of what I do. A little bit of excavating, a lot of fixing stuff, a lot of working on stuff, and the occasional giant build, I guess. I don't know where the shop's going in the future. I didn't really know where this video was going when I started filming it. What about Mike Video? Ding. That was the guy coming to look at my old plow truck that just texted and said, "Never mind, I'm not coming." What do I want to say? Well, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see any of these projects get going. I've got so much I want to do. I got so much time that I need to put into them, and I've got so much time available. This year's been a very slow winter, so I haven't been out plowing very much. It's snowing right now, as you guys can see, and I'm sort of waiting the day out because I'm sure I'll be plowing tomorrow. That will tie me up for a couple of days, so I'm trying to put a video out once every Saturday, and it seems that they need to be an hour long to be promoted by YouTube, so throw this video in there. Probably display it Wednesday morning, I'll release it, so if you're seeing this, happy Wednesday. Stay tuned. Every Saturday I throw a video out there for you guys. Hope it brings you some sort of entertainment, and maybe you learn something. Maybe I learned something too. So much to learn. I don't know what else to say. I'm not really good at standing in front of the damn camera.